If you were to think about great people of the Bible, who would come to your mind? Okay, well, besides Jesus, hopefully you know our Savior Jesus and know that He's great. But besides Jesus, who would you think of as a great person, a hero of faith in the Bible? Well, maybe you think of Noah, who built the ark, or Abraham, the father of all the Israelites, or Moses, or King David. Maybe Jesus' disciple Peter, or the Apostle Paul. Those are all great people for us to learn about and to learn from. But you know, you don't have to be famous, so to speak, to be a hero of faith. And so this week I want to spend some time thinking about lesser known people of the Bible who are still great people, great heroes of faith for us to learn about. And we'll focus especially on the first half of the Bible, the Old Testament, to see some of these great people. So I have a good one for you to start with today, a man named Elihu. Extra brownie points if you know who Elihu is. If you don't know him, maybe you have heard of his more famous friend, a man named Job. Remember the story of Job? Job was that man who was tested by God. He was allowed to suffer so much, maybe as much or more than any person in the history of the world. I mean, here's a guy who lost all of his possessions and wealth, his riches, his cattle. He lost all of his servants who were killed by an invading band of reckless people. And then in a natural disaster, he lost all 10 of his kids. And this is the same day. And then later on, he even lost his health as he was covered with painful sores from head to toe. And so the story of Job in the Bible is this epic tale of suffering with ongoing conversation about how to handle all of this pain and trouble in life. Well, at first, Job does pretty well and stands firm in his faith, and he has this dialogue with 3 of his friends, but his friends start turning on him, and they blame Job for something bad he has done, and they start to blame God for allowing this. Even Job's wife turns on him and tells him to just curse God and die. Well, this conversation, this turmoil about suffering goes on for 30-some chapters until finally a 4th friend enters the scene, this young man named Elihu. And so Elihu starts talking and he says, hey, guys, you know, I'm just a young buck here and I let you have your chance to talk a little bit and you said your piece, but you know what, I'm going to say something now. And I'm going to tell it like it is. And that's exactly what Elihu does. For 5 straight chapters, Elihu talks about how great and glorious our God is, about His majesty, His wisdom, His power, His plans. And in doing so, Elihu also kind of rebukes Job for questioning and doubting God and His plans and purpose for Job's life. Well, finally, when Elihu's done talking, that's when God enters the scene and he sort of puts Job back in his place. And yeah, sure enough, God actually had planned that He blessed Job with twice as much as he had in the first place, including 10 more children. Well, there's your whirlwind overview of the book of Job. So what can we learn about this, and especially about Elihu? Well, how about find yourself a friend like Elihu? You know, it does us no good to have friends who are going to bring us down spiritually, people who might lead us away from God, or people who are negative Nancy's, Debbie Downers. No offense to any Debbies or Nancy's out there, but you know those kinds of people who are always blaming God or blaming you, drawing you into sinful things. Find a friend like Elihu, someone who's going to bring you in your suffering back to God, back to His Word, someone who's even willing to call you out when you are wrong and to correct you. Secondly, think of it the other way. Who can you be an Elihu to? Do you know someone who's suffering? Someone who needs encouragement, maybe a little correcting in their life? Be an Elihu friend to that person. Speak the truth of God, but speak it with love and care and encouragement. And maybe last point, no matter who you are, no matter how young you are, or even if you're just young in your faith as a believer, don't be afraid to be like Elihu and stand on the truth of God and tell it like it is. Be confident in our God and in His Word. And when you do, you can be an unsung hero of faith too.
Did you enjoy this video? Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss a single message. Click right here.